I certainly hope that the most important event after the creation of the world is the revelation of Sinai, the giving of the Ten Commandments. I hope you know it from the real place, from the real thing, and not from the movie. And Moshe Rabbeinu, no, was not Charles Heston. So let's look at the real story. But before we do that, chapter of Tehillim, thanking God for the miracles and for the ultimate miracle, the coming of Mashiach. Bizmal soid oril Adonai kol haaretz ivdu es Adonai b'simcha bo lefanav birnono da'u ki Adonai hu Elohim hu asanu v'lo anach nama b'tzei marisa bo yishor b'soid achatzroisa b'silo hoidu loi bochu shumai ki toiv Adonai le'olam chasdo v'yad doir v'doir emunasoi. Giving tzedakah is also a miracle. Why do we want to do that? Because it's miracle means it's beyond our logic. Because we know this is what God wants us to do, and we recognize that everything is from God. So it's not mine, it's mine to share. But going back to the introduction which I made about the Ten Commandments, which is the Torah portion of this week, let me start reading the first two verses. And God spoke all those words. Anochi Hashem Elokecha, I am God, your God. Who am I? Asher hoitzisicha me'eretz Mitzrayim mebeis avodim. The one who brought you out of Egypt, out of the house of Pharaoh, where you were slaves. And then he goes on, Lo yeh lecha, should not have any idols, etc. Now let's stop for a moment here. What is the purpose? What is the meaning? God is telling us, I am God, your God, who took you out of Egypt. Is this a way of God identifying himself to us? We know who God is. And we know he took us out of Egypt. We've just experienced this for over a year now. It's been over a year that we have gone through the whole process of, since Moshe Rabbeinu came to Egypt and he told us, God sent me to take you out of Egypt. And who is this God? I am the infinite God. I am who I am. And we have experienced coming out of Egypt. We experienced the opening of the sea. And we are on Mount Sinai. We maybe have a short memory, but not that short. Something which just happened a few months ago. What's the idea? And then if you want to identify yourself, why don't you say the one who created the world? Here is one point. God is telling the Jewish people, what am I out with the Ten Commandments that I'm going to give you? And by the way, it's not just the Ten Commandments, it's the entire Torah. Is it just a book of rules? Or is it the entire purpose of existence? So God says the following. If it's a book of rules, then you have a to-do list. And every day you perform what you're supposed to do. Once I did what I need to do, I enjoy my life. I've done my quota. I've done my chores. I've fulfilled my obligations. But then there is another concept. And God says, the purpose of you coming out of Egypt is just like in Egypt you were slaves. What kind of slave? That you had no identity. You had no personal value. You were 24/7 a slave subservient to Pharaoh. You couldn't go without my permission. You couldn't leave without my permission. I took away your children. Everything that was precious to you belonged to me. Says God, this concept, I have taken you out of this kind of existence, of this kind of identity, of this kind of mindset for you to become now my subjects. Meaning what? For you to understand that your whole purpose of life is what? To become subservient in a positive way to God Himself. To become an integral partner in the purpose of creation. You do not only have certain responsibilities, you're a partner with me in the purpose of creation, which is what? Coming out of Egypt, coming to the ultimate goal, the time of Mashiach, the time of redemption. And what is this all about? Total and full and complete oneness and unity with God. So that's what God says. I took you out from this subserviency to Egypt to become a partner and totally subservient to me. Please God, no?